So hey guys, today I have very exciting guest with me, Santosh Panda. He's the founder and CEO of Explara. So as you have, everyone probably might have heard of Explara. It's a SaaS platform for online business, event ticketing, and membership management and payment gateway. So Explara was an early entrant in the space, event ticketing space in 2008, and they started as an event registration software. But after helping about 100,000, more than 100,000 users with that, they grew into a lot of and started doing a lot of stuff, and which helped small businesses grow their revenue and solve their business needs through the platform. And so currently, Explara is now a multi-product business, and Explara is actually Santosh's third attempt to start a business, as mentioned on his LinkedIn. So yeah, so welcome Santosh on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Sunil and Abhilash.
Yeah, and today I have Abhilash also with me. Abhilash is a customer success manager at MoEngage, and so me and Abhilash are going to talk with Santosh about his early days at Explara and what he does as CEO. So welcome, Abhilash.
Thanks, Sunil. Welcome Santosh as well to the podcast. Santosh, I quickly just wanted to start with how exactly did you come up with the idea of Explara?
Yeah, so the Explara idea came from an observation that when I started, right, before that I was part of the eBay team in London. And as part of the eBay team, we were part of the developer community. So there was Skype, there was PayPal, and I was part of the eBay sales team, not sales team, it is a technology team attached to create seller rewards program or a project at eBay. And we used to go out to a lot of events. We were hosting a lot of events too. And London is a place where a lot of tech events used to happen. I'm talking about 2006-07. So in my small notebook that I had wrote, saying what are the ideas that to be exploring when I start the business, the third idea was, in fact, event, right? And in the meantime, whenever I used to switch on radios and all that in the London, there are Sunrise Radio and all, where I kind of kept on hearing people looking for venues, or there are some announcement around Asians there, right? So that struck me saying, okay, what's happening in India? I had already kind of failed in two. I was just looking out for the third idea and seeing what's happening in back in India, and then I realized that in event there are not much software at play, and there is still India was still way behind in terms of software. But somehow, as they say, right, a problem is going to attract you. You are not going to decide what you're going to do, but somehow a problem going to attract you. So event attracted my attention, and I said, okay, let me jump into that and start looking at this industry.
Great.
Awesome. That sounds exciting.
Thank you.
So Santosh, as a CEO at Explara, so what does your typical day look like?
So I start my day a little bit late. Actually, I'm not an early starter to office, so I start early on my day as a yoga in the morning, and then I get to finish a couple of work before I start from home itself. Couple of emails or quick take a look at the support chats. Chat mainly. I love looking at our customer support chat. What are the queries being asked? What are the questions being answered and all that? And then I reach office by 10:30 to 10:45 max. And then I go, and this is my perfect time to walk, in fact. So I stretch all the way to 8:45. And I get my best timings between 6 to 8:45, which is quiet. So I can finish off whatever I have to do tomorrow. I'll just, prepare that ground and then go home, happily without having anything back in the mind saying what I should do. So that's the schedule that I follow generally, 10:45 to 8:45.
That's interesting, and I really liked about this thing about when I went to the Explara website, and I got a message from your name, so that really means a lot. And as a customer also, when I'm visiting the platform and the CEO, I am getting a message directly from the CEO, so that adds a lot.
Sure. No, I think, as a team, we've been benefited by that. Once we go through the discussion, I will be very passionate to talk about customer support. I think that's one of the areas that we, as a team, are very passionate about, building relationship and networking with people to hear them out.
Right. And so Santosh, like when you were building Explara way back in 2008, so when you were growing, right? So did you focus a lot on building the product first, and then and then let the product market itself, or did you actually hire a marketing and sales team and acquire those customers early and then build the product based on their feedback and stuff like that? So which way did you go in the early days?
Yeah, in my case, I was lucky that I was in the earliest in the Twitter, in India's diaspora. As early as 2008 March, I joined, and so by the time we started the product, we did a small prototype. We just did a little bit of thing. Went to so I had one sales guy though. We went out and demonstrated to the 2 or 3 people, the event host, and we figured out, but they were not very sure whether they used the product or not. More than that, what I did is I started finding out people on Twitter who were already the barcamp host, or some sort of early event organizers in India's scenario, right? People were doing already barcamps and meetups and small event hosts. I reached out to them saying, hey, there's a new one, we're doing it, how about it, right? So that kind of like got a lot of people kind of interesting, saying, hey, somebody's reaching out talking about it. While my sales guys were going on existing businesses, I do today, I wanted to go out to new people, new age people who were pretty much on a new network, such Twitter, and kind of approached them and talked about it so I could get them on the platform to say, hey, let me see how it works. So that's how I did it. So it was a combined approach to use sales, outbound sales, and a bit of word of mouth, which we continue to do that in fact even today.
Yeah, but let's say if you have to really choose between, let's say, 50 and 49. So was it really 51 for product, or 51 for building product, or 51 for building marketing and sales team?
No, I think 51 for the product. It's the product to scale.
Okay.
And then everything else teamed up around that.
Right. And again, so after, so you started focusing on product, building the product first, and then reaching out, then building the sales and marketing team to reach out to new businesses and stuff like that. So when did you know, and how did you achieve your product market?
So initially we were not, I'm talking about 2008 when between 2008, 9, 10, we had a disaster time in India because we were the first few guys in the payment space. I'm talking about the days where CC Avenue and EBS were the 2 payment companies. Right today, we all celebrate $1 billion payment companies. But when I started, there were only 2 companies where you have to apply for days and days to get a payment. So we kind of struggled initially to get even product market fit, because everybody who came to Explara and started using the product, they said, oh, I have so many payment failures, your product might have issues. So you have to educate the market so much, saying that, no, this is nothing to do with our thing. We've given you a transactional capability, but there's a payment gateway associated. So we were very worried, saying, are we going to lose the market plot just because, the market doesn't know how a payment gateway works? I had to go out and talk about it, write a lot of customer support articles, write, on those days, next big what used to be called plugged in. So I used to write on plugged in and told the market that, look, this is what event registration software is, this is what payment gateway is. So we didn't get product market fit. And we had a lot of customers who came in expecting certain things which we didn't have. Right? They were expecting that we would promote in various places. We would do everything. We will come on the day of the event to do XYZ, which was not the case. So we didn't get that right in 2008, because 8 we only first time launched around end of 8 September. And in 9 we kind of struggled to see who are the best 20 customers we can benchmark, right? So the entire 2009 went in understanding what is the key pain point that we should address fast. And because we were also building a product very early days, those days UX and UI was also struggling because not many people were found in this scenario in the Indian scene. So we had to iterate a couple of times quickly and build product features to see whether this is what you mean by. So only in 2010, I think it took almost 2 years for us to realize, yeah, this is now what it is, which is attracting people. When they say about it to another event host, they say, oh, let me see. If they are offering all these things, great, I'll go for it. So that's where we realized the product market fit is there.
Interesting. And so you told me that you had a lot of early challenges. So, and my next question is based on that. So what were those early challenges, or what were those disaster moments that you faced for Explara? Like one you mentioned about that, people are not educated about in the market about this kind of platform. So again, you gave a good example that for payment failures, they were blaming Explara and not the payment gateway, because people didn't know that the payment gateway and the event platform are two separate entities. For them, it's just one, because let's say they are seeing Explara and that which is redirecting to the payment gateway. So I think it was a common misunderstanding then. So this is like one disaster you mentioned. Like, what are some other disasters which happened? And
Sure. So one is the payment. The second one is when you're using online as a mechanism, right? Because e-commerce, even if you look at e-commerce, was not even there yet, right? The only couple of companies who were using merchandise to sell it out online and all. So a lot of times the customer, both the buyers and the sellers, both the event host and the attendees they were very apprehensive about saying, oh, am I going to buy, but will my money will be refunded if I do it? I have come to know about this event on Explara, but can I buy offline? So he said, why would you buy offline if you're offering online? So the trust issue, right? Because very, very, very important was that, can I trust this event host? Is this going to happen? Are you sure you know them? And to be honest, we don't know each and every event host. We only got to know them when they got to find our product and they use the product. Otherwise, we don't know about their business, how good they are. And so there is a trust factor which impacted, which we thought, this market is going to be very, very difficult to build the trust, to become the platform to trust between both. Right? As an event host, can I trust you to make sure that my money is safe? As an attendee, can I trust you that I go to the event host which is not going to cheat, or which is going to run away from my money? Those are the two prime ones. And the third one came as we were building out, is that a lot of event hosts who started using the platform later on couldn't scale because they thought that they are going to make a lot of money out of the online, but the trust was still building up. So a lot of people were still doing offline, and there were a lot of hassles of conversions and money that they were able to make. So we also struggled saying that, what, if people are not going to succeed, we will not succeed. If the event host is not going to come back and do the event again, where do we go back to retain them and make money out of it? So those are the three top things that almost derailed us in the initial days.
And I'm very glad that you and the company Explara overcome these challenges, and now it became what it is now. So so when you started in 2008, so 2008 until 2010 or 11, you were still struggling and you had all these problems and you were facing these challenges, and then you overcame it, and then you achieved a product market fit. And then I read on your website that in 2012 as compared to 2011, you achieved like a 600% mega growth. So was it? So what was the main reason behind it? Was it overcoming these challenges and achieving product market fit, or was it something else? Or what was the whole idea, or what was the whole driving factor behind that hypergrowth?
Yeah. So, after the product market fit is done, we were able to attract a lot of inbound, and the outbound sales was also, established. What happened is, till then we had a small, sized customers, right? The customer would be a small entity or a freelancer or a 2-people team. But as they came to the platform, a lot of big businesses started looking at it and saying, wow, if these guys can use Explara to host events, why am I not doing it? Am I going to miss the bus of building a brand and building a much efficient event operation? So we could win a couple of large scale customers who came in, and which impacted the highest growth ever. In fact, it just skyrocketed from there. The hockey stick started from there, in fact, because of medium to large scale customers came in, and they were pretty much better awareness from versus the small scale individuals that we had to train them for many years. They knew how the system works. They had bigger operations, so they were risk proof. They had bigger brand of events, so they could attract higher conversions, right? They had an operation to make sure that we are able to train them and retain them. So I think that contributed to the growth.
And so there were again, you told a lot about many factors which were contributing towards that hyper growth. But let's say which one do you think is like the topmost factor which affected it the most? Like, is it building the product which is solving these challenges, or was it acquiring those large companies as compared to small and medium businesses? So if you had to assign like one main reason to that hyper growth, I know like there were a lot of reasons and it contributes a lot. Yeah. So which is that one main?
Definitely two: acquiring large customers and also having the product map ready for them. Right? Because while you were going through this small medium, we already knew that these are the customers we're going to go after. So we had already had those product features we knew is going to be required for scale, right? The kind of customer that you're going to attract. So we were ready for the product, and we went on a aggressive acquisition for large scale customers that we got in.
That's interesting.
Santosh, like you mentioned your entire journey from how exactly you started out, where you had initial challenges, and how exactly you achieved product market fit, and also a few key growth metrics where you've seen, because of those, you've seen Explara grow. Like, I just wanted to generally understand, like, what piece of advice would you give to early stage startup CEOs, like people who are just starting out, so that they can learn from your experiences?
Yeah, I think for all of us who are either in the startup working or starting up, I think the fundamental thing is whether we speculate a need or whether we think there is a need, right? We found a need. I think we need to go back to customers time and again. I think we shouldn't just assume that just because I found out a problem, just the solution is going to be good enough, or the solution is going to be payable enough. Now I will, the problem is there, but I'm not ready to pay for the solution. So I think the first foremost fundamentals is go and talk to a couple of ideal customers, or you think they are my prospective customers. So speak to them. That's the first fundamental thing that you do. Second, we need to be always aware that you cannot just sort of think that you're going to skyrocket the growth right then and there. Focus on the initial 30 to 40 customers that you're going to bring in multiple ways, using your own word of mouth, network, outbound sales, digital marketing, whatever you do, but do use 3 to 4 things. Nobody's asking you to scale in the initial days. Nobody's even, thinking about which channel is optimized. So don't put all your basket on, outbound sales, or don't put all your baskets on digital marketing or some other growth hacks per se. I would say try 3 to 4, because that is going to get you the variety of customers that you're going to bring on your platform. And then when you figure out what's working, what's not working, you will have an ideal set of customers to optimize, saying, when I bring from outbound sales, I seem to be hitting large check paying customers. Or when I'm getting from inbound marketing muscles, I seem to be getting customers who are very well versed with technology as such, right? So identifying your initial set of prospective users who could be, and gathering that feedback and then building the product. Second, when you build the product and now you're able to ready for sale, use minimum 2 to 3 to 4 channels to attract customers, to bring customers or to win customers. And then you find out what's the right model for you to grow from 40 to, let's say, 400 or 40 to 100. That's how I generally intend that startups will find the best product market fit and best model to grow their business from where they are to the next stage.
Perfect. That actually helps understand how exactly someone who's starting out can probably look at acquiring users and also building their product. Another insight that I would like to ask you is, like, from a CEO's perspective, how do you make sure that the entire team who's working with you is aligned to the vision of the product or the vision of the company? Like, is there something specifically that you do to basically rally the entire team so everybody works towards one single goal?
Sure. So, these days we do OKR, so it's much easier. But way back in 4 or 5 years, there were no OKR, right? But I'm a big fan of mind maps, mind map tools, and I'm a big fan of 2 ways. One is customer-driven product development, right, where what 4 to 5 customers are willing, or we have seen them having problems. or willing to pay for your next iterations and product features or benefit that's going to help them. So that's one. Second is you always have to benchmark your your offering to your competitor offering. In terms of what value they are giving, that you might be missing it out. You may not be offering in the same way that they are doing it, but that's going to give you an insight saying why is this being liked by customers, or why is this a needed feature for customers. So one, customer is going to tell you, your existing customers are going to tell you, so you're retaining your customers and doing it. Second, you using your competitors benchmark to say how can I outperform or do it better. Second, and third is as a team you have your mind map to say, hey, look, this is a way that we intend to go, or basically roadmap. This is where we need to be see ourselves in the next 2 years minimum. And if you now put these two buckets in your mind map or roadmap, you would see these are something that is matching with our kind of vision, and that's going to inspire people to say, okay, let's think what else the customer, could be solved or could help in doing their business better. So those are the three frameworks that we used to use earlier. Now also those are the framework that helps us to design the product ahead. But I think with an OKR, it becomes much more easier because you say, hey, this is the fundamental, objective of the company that we are all rallying behind it. And you tell us what you should do, or you bring your own OKR aligning with a goal, a growth proposition. So that's how we do.
Perfect. That was very insightful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And Santosh, from what Explara has been in the past to scaling growth, what do you think is next for Explara? What is the next phase for Explara?
Yeah, so I think, from an Explara point of view, we always wanted to build a platform that, that is extension of what we have, learned over the years. I think we as a team, we could launch into the online digital space using ticketing as a mechanism. We didn't go to e-commerce, but it could be called a digital commerce as such. Now, so having an expertise over the years to handle digital transactions, payment processing, thousands of customers, query and support, and helping 100,000 sort of user base to grow their business, we think that is our core capability. So as we see forward, we think, I fundamentally as a founder, I believe that one should exploit their own core capability first, right? You go out, you stretch yourself where you are good at, right? So I think we are good at in the transaction and the payment space. We are going to expand Explara into, new revenues, right? Which is pretty much coming soon. I'll still keep it wrapped. And we're going to expand and play out our own goal because we have a set of customer base. We can easily reach out and do the same thing, which I now explained in terms of going after. But in a brief, we are getting into a multi-product business, right? We believe that we have spent time and we are willing to build bigger values for the company and the stakeholders. So we're going to take that core capability and try newer products around it.
Perfect.
Awesome. That's interesting, Santosh. And I think that's our time for now. And thanks a lot for showing up and taking the time for doing this. And again, so I just like a little inside thing for all the listeners is Santosh and Explara are looking for an excellent content writer. So you already heard about what Explara has about Explara's journey, and from recent post on LinkedIn through Santosh, they're looking for a excellent content writer. So if you are one, or if you know one, so please refer to Explara, and you can write to him. I can include his email address in the description, and you can reach out and join this amazing startup.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Santosh. It was great talking to you.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Thanks, Santosh. It was great talking to you.
Thanks, Avilash. Cheers. Bye.